Shalom, I'm Brother Rael from Reunited Soul, and in this video, I'm going to discuss the 144,000 of the New Testament doctrine. And through investigation, we will find why the 144,000, as told in the book of Revelation, do not line up with the Tanakh or Old Testament scriptures. So, let us nourish our soul with scripture that we may reunite with the Most High, the Elohim of Yisrael. All scriptures will be read verbatim from the King James Version Bible. Now, let's get right into it. The 144,000 as spoken of by the New Testament doctrine in the book of Revelation. There is so much mysticism and sensationalism that surround this mysterious 144,000 spoken of in the New Testament doctrine. In this discussion, we will investigate it according to the New Testament verses. There is various opinions regarding the 144,000 of the New Testament, and some of these opinions tweak the narrative of the 144,000 to fit their own conclusions. Because, believe me when I say, the description of the 144,000 according to the book of Revelation, to no surprise, has problematic issues. And of course, I'm going to address these problems. And as the saying goes, if there's smoke, there's usually fire. And whenever I hear someone talk about the mystical 144,000, smoke detectors start sounding off. Now, together, through this investigation, we're going to discover this bothersome fire and extinguish it for our New Testament brothers and sisters, which, by the way, have been choking on this smoke far too long. Perhaps they will appreciate breathing the clean, free air and invest some much-needed time reading Torah. So, according to Revelations chapter 7, verses 3 through 8, the 144,000 is made up of 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's go to it. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, not to hurt the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Aser were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Nephthalim were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. Okay. So we know where the 144,000 are coming from according to Revelations chapter 7. Not too difficult to follow thus far. 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel equals 144,000. Makes perfect sense. However, some of you may have noticed that the tribe of Dan is missing from this New Testament narrative. As a matter of fact, Ephraim is also missing. Instead, it seems that the New Testament chose to use the tribe of Levi and Joseph for the 144,000 in place of the tribe of Dan and Ephraim. There are speculations as to why the tribe of Dan was omitted, but we won't go down that rabbit hole in this discussion. The New Testament does not always line up with the Tanakh or the Old Testament scriptures, as we will see in a moment. However, the book of Revelation's choice in tribes as to why which tribe was chosen over another is not the focus of this investigation. So let's continue and proceed with caution. Now that we confirm where the number 144,000 derived, we can now go to the description of the 144,000 according to Revelations chapter 14, verses 1 through 5. But before reading, I want to alert you to the wordage being used in these verses. This is where it goes off the rail, so to speak, in regards to the Tanakh or Old Testament scriptures. And that's why it's very important to have a competent knowledge and understanding from the source of our covenant before going off into fantasy land with strange doctrines embraced by those who afflict the Most High's people. So again, pay close attention to the wordage. Now let's go to Revelations chapter 14, verses 1 through 5 to get in the meat of this discussion. And I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung it as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and unto the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. Okay, let's jump right in this. We see in verse 4 that the 144,000 happened to be all men. How so? They were not defiled by women, for they are virgins. Also, these were redeemed from among men. So, I believe that we can all agree that the 144,000, as odd as it may seem, are men virgins. And since it emphasizes virgins, we know that it's speaking sexually in nature. Although many New Testament believers will argue that it's not sexual in nature. Now, a big problem that I see in verse 4 is where it states, not defiled with women. That's quite a bold statement to make. Bold and reckless, to be more accurate, as you will see in a moment. So, let's investigate this first by defining the word defiled, just so there's no misunderstanding as to what the word means. Let's go to Merriam-Webster for clarity. Defiled means A, to corrupt the purity or perfection of, B, to violate the chastity or virginity of, C, to make physically unclean, especially with something unpleasant or contaminating, D, to violate the sanctity of, and E, sully and dishonor. Now that we clarified the meaning, why would the New Testament take such a position against women, against the daughters of Zion? And how did the New Testament come to such a conclusion that put our beloved sisters in such a predicament? It certainly did not get such an idea from the Tanakh or Old Testament scriptures. A man procreating with a woman did not defile a man. No, not at all. We also know that the Most High commanded his people that certain nations of people were off limits, according to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3, Ezra chapter 9, verse 12, and Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 25. But verse 4 does not discriminate. It refers to all women, including the daughters of Zion. And how can that be when the Most High's people are to be fruitful and multiply? Let's go to it. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 9. And I read, "For I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you." You simply cannot continue a nation's lineage without procreating. But according to New Testament doctrine's logic, this defiles a man. And how so exactly? We can look at Leviticus chapter 15 in the Tanakh or Old Testament scriptures and see temporary situations where a man and a woman is deemed to be unclean. Temporary situations, mind you. But for a man to avoid knowing a woman altogether, as in being a virgin, that did not come from what thus saith the Most High. My question is exactly, what part of a woman defiles a man, according to the New Testament standards? Is it the genitalia? If so, are we to believe that an infant's body can be defiled through natural childbearing? So what part of the woman is the New Testament referring to that defiles a man? Can a virtuous woman defile a man? I'm just asking for a friend. Okay. It's time for a quick sidebar with my sisters, the daughters of Zion. Let's deal with these choice of words in verse 4, first and foremost. My question to you is, how could you? As your brother, I take great offense to this verse as it insinuates that the daughters of Zion are somehow corrupt, contaminated, or unclean. It places you, my sisters, in a category with heathen women that we were commanded not to be with. How and when did you, daughters of Zion, come to such a state that you defile the men of the Most High? Now I can understand how our lost New Testament brothers can drop the ball on this. But my sisters, how can you go along with this nonsense? To simply lay down and submit to this slander. I know the New Testament can be hard on a sister by browbeating you into keeping silent. But come on now, sisters. Defiling a man is going too far. I know a lot is going on in the land of our captivity, but let's not forget who you are and whose you are according to Torah. But then again, if the New Testament Lamb prefers his 144,000 male followers to be pure virgins like himself, and not defiled by the likes of women's, then it is what it is. That is the doctrine that you have chosen to commit your soul to. A doctrine that considers you to be so impure and contaminated that you can defile a man for life through just one act of intercourse. Please allow that to sink in, my sisters. Now the real question is, will you still be looked upon as impure when you return to the land? Now, do you see why verse 4 is not only problematic but disturbing? And that leads me to the next part of this investigation. Although it clearly states in verse 4 that these 144,000 are male virgins, some New Testament believers have chosen not to take the word virgin literally, as in those who had not had intercourse with a woman. although it is quite clear in verse 4 that is referring to exactly that. New Testament believers would simply like to sidestep this fallacy of women defiling men and instead like to believe that the word virgin means guiltless of idolatry. From a doctrine, of course, that is riddled with the worship of a messianic idol. Also, some New Testament believers may believe that the women spoken of in verse 4 is synonymous to Babylon, as in false teachings. So as you can see, verse 4 does not line up with what thus saith the Most High, and simply cannot be defended in a literal sense. As a result, we get the usual New Testament splaining in an attempt to make it make sense. In conclusion, there is little spoken about the 144,000 in the New Testament. We just covered it in Revelations chapter 7 and chapters 14. However, New Testament believers seem to know more about the 144,000 than it is written. For example, although it clearly states that the 144,000 will come from the 12 tribes of Israel, some Christians believe it is speaking of spiritual Israel. That's right, spiritual Israel, which could be anyone who worships the Messiah as Lord and Savior. Other New Testament believers say that the 144,000 will be doing this, that, and the other while on earth. Now let's be very clear. The New Testament doctrine has no boundaries as to how things can be interpreted, as you can plainly see with the 144,000. With New Testament explaining, there are a wide range of optional beliefs to choose from to make it applicable to your own conclusions. However, if you take it literally, as in 144,000 virgins not defiled by women, you will find that it conflicts with what thus said the Most High, as we had just witnessed. Now I'm going to leave you with the word of the Most High regarding his remnant, according to Jeremiah chapter 23, verses 3 through 4, and I read, "And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord." Unlike the New Testament 144,000, we know what the Most High's remnant is for. There is nothing mystical or sensational about the Most High's remnant. They don't have a special song that only they can sing before the throne, the Lamb, the four beasts, and the elders. The remnant are not men virgins who see women as some kind of beast that will defile them. 144,000 virgin men who know nothing about the responsibilities of heading a household, loving a wife, and fathering children. Now, what exactly were the 144,000 supposed to be doing on earth that no other man can do? Besides, singing a song that no other man can sing, of course. Seriously, come on, my New Testament brothers and sisters. You must know that this doctrine was not written for you. 144,000 virgin men not defiled by women sounds like a Greco-Roman fantasy. Let's be very clear. The Most High's remnant is made up of both male and female. And how do we know this? By the Most High allowing them to be fruitful and increase, according to verse 3. And to what purpose? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5. And I read, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth." From this faithful remnant, the Most High will provide for them, increase them, and raise a righteous branch unto David. And many of you know how King David dealt with his enemies, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth, according to verse 5. By this time, family, heathen playtime is over. All the New Testament mysticism and sensationalism of the heathen getting away with sowing evil in the earth and enjoying paradise in heaven with the Messiah will be a forethought and futility. Their fate will be settled right here on earth as judgment and justice is executed. And let's not forget those who were not able to be gathered as the Most High's remnant. What happens to them? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 6, and I read, In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. So, in the days of this king executing judgment and justice in the earth, is when Judah will be saved and Israel shall dwell safely. So yes, the Most High is coming for his people. However, in order to raise that righteous branch, he has to separate his faithful remnant from the idolaters, the coons, and the rebels, who always sabotage his people's progress. You know how it goes with our people. We take one step forward and 5 steps backward through foolishness. And you can imagine the amount of time that it may take to raise that righteous branch from that remnant, while the majority of the Most High's people are still out there doing who knows what in the wilderness. Probably still waiting for the 144,000 undefiled virgin men to sing their sensational song that no man can learn to sing. And also for the sky to crack open, as they say, and the virgin lamb to fall out and save the world. And to save the world from what exactly? The Most High's wrath? Figure the odds of that happening. Allow me to close with Isaiah chapter 45, verse 20, and I read, Assemble yourselves and come, draw near together, ye that are escaped of the nations. They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image and pray unto a God that cannot save. Brothers and sisters, the Most High is our Elohim. He is coming for his people. He has not forsaken us. He is very thorough in how he deals with his people. And if the Most High desired for his people to worship anything other than himself, he would have made it very crystal clear. He would not have left something so critically important to chance. Come, brothers and sisters, let us draw near together as we worship the Most High and him alone. Let us continue to encourage one another to seek the Most High in these uncertain times we find ourselves in. And may the peace of the Most High be upon you and your households. With that being said, always keep your trust in the Most High. Love him with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. See to it that your household is in line with the word of the Most High as best you can. I thank you for taking the time to watch. Again, I am Rael, your reunited soul brother. And with that, I say to you, Shalom.